Peace, peace. Welcome to the Herbalist Lounge, January 2026, first one of the year. And tonight we are talking about herbs for transitions. So if you are new, please please mute your mic when you are not speaking. That's just to eliminate background noise, but by all means, feel free to unmute yourself and speak up, engage, let us know what's on your mind. This is definitely not a classroom. This is a cipher where we come to build and share our experiences. Okay. Also, feel free to engage in the chat. And I'm going to pass the mic over. Your facilitators for this evening are myself, Martina, and then we also have
Asia. Hello. Peace, peace, peace.
And Lanita is bringing up the rear.
And always with us, Asia. You got this. Go ahead, Asia. Ancestors. Yes.
Right. So we always want to make room for our ancestors, our plant ancestors, those who came before us, and were able to make this possible. We are so grateful for the knowledge and wisdom that were explored and found then so that we can build upon that and we can stand upon those shoulders.
Yes, yes. And we are grateful for you all, our herbal community. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get this started. So, how are we honoring this season? Let's start off with that. How are we honoring the season? And you know what? I'm a rewind a little bit. Hold up. I'm a rewind because we got to talk about what we sipping on tonight. What herb is resonating with us, right?
Well, I'll go. I am in Lanita, and where am I? Somewhere in Texas, and I'm sipping on some white hibiscus and cinnamon, feeling that sweet, tart, mellow, just soothing the stomach and going down smooth.
Nice. All right, y'all. So I got a little bit of a mix. I have a herbal blend, and it has chamomile in it. It has hibiscus. It has spearmint, roses, well, rose petals, lemongrass, peppermint. So it's in lemon balm. So it's a nice little blend. That's a little tea bag I have. So then I added to it some loose leaf, more chamomile, and I like chewing on the little flowers, and some skull cap. So they're all synergizing together, and that's what I'm sipping on right now. What you sipping on, Asia?
So we're about to look. I just had the question pop up. What does rose petals taste like? So we're about to now sip
Yay!
um, some rose petal tea. So it's by a company called Blossom and Brew. Lanita, you'll remember them. That was the Indian family at the convention that we went to.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
tea convention. So um, they're a pretty good, reputable company. And just you know how it is. People make the food, or they grow the food, and you can just feel their energy and their essence.
Mhm.
It's one of those. So it's really, really good. Good vibes.
Asia, is that rose petal or rose petal chai?
It's the romantic rose petal tea.
Ooh, all right then.
Uh, I guess I'll go next. I'm not sipping yet. It's still steeping in the pot, but this is flu going on really heavily in our area. So me and the kids are about to be sipping on a mix of hibiscus, star anise, mullein, thyme, elderberry, elderflower. That's all I got, and a dash of cinnamon. So that's what we about to be sipping on. I've been mixing it with hot cocoa for my baby to drink it. Um, Occasionally I've been able to get her to just drink it straight. I convinced her it's gonna make her strong. Then she say it's yummy, and she go to pushing stuff down because she thinks she's strong. But we've been drinking it, and I think it's helping us push through. So far, my sickle celler, she is doing good because I caught it beforehand. When one person got sick, I started pushing it for everybody, and yeah, that's what we sipping on tonight.
Oh, I love to hear all that. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
You're the second person this week to tell me that you're mixing hot cocoa with elderflower and herbs so their baby gonna drink it. Okay, I got my Nairobi over here sipping on and stuff, but we're gonna try some hot cocoa too. What you sipping on? Come over here. So someone has something to say. What's your name?
Nairobi.
Okay, what you sipping on? Do you know what kind of tea's in there?
No,
I'm gonna whisper it in your ear.
it's skull cap and chamomile.
Nice.
Good night, Nairobi.
She said it does. They'll tell them what you just said. What happened?
Hmm.
It doesn't work. Okay, we'll see.
Oh,
We need to up it up a little bit. Okay. To be continued at the end of the lounge. All right, baby. Bye bye. No. An hour later.
1 hour later.
All right, y'all. Nice, nice. Sounds like we sipping on some good stuff. I think everybody got to share what they sipping on, right?
yeah.
Okay, cool. So, how we honoring this season, guys? Like, I know the theme is herbs for transitions. We've been through a few different transitions here. The winter solstice, seasonal changes, the new year. We got another new year upon us, right? So how are we honoring these seasons? I know we all honor them in different ways. Some of them align, but anyone want to share how we honor this season?
One thing I didn't think of with the topic was you said transitions. And then when we said it tonight, I'm thinking, ooh, because, typically during the winter months, I call that the death season. That's when a lot of people, transition. And it's not just, the plants in nature, it is our people too. It seems like, they just get sick, there's just their time to rest, it's time to transition. So we're coming through that transitional period now. And so this transition, this topic is very relevant for the type of season that we're in. And oops, sorry, I hope I didn't lose y'all. Did I lose you? Oh,
We can hear you.
okay, good. So the season that we're in is usually a transitional period for people passing, but now this year we're talking about moving out of that slow movement and moving into and transitioning into the next new year coming. So
Yes, for sure. Nikia, you got your hand raised.
Hey, I'm ready to yap, as my daughter say. So how we transition? How we celebrate the season? I've been reinstating things that I have been doing that I like backslid on. Um, as we say in the church. And so that started off for me with celebrating the winter solstice again, doing my rituals, lighting my candles and things, using different parts of the four elements. And so I made a promise to myself to incorporate that into my daily life. And for my kids, um, it's just now starting to be winter in Louisiana because we had fall for a long time. We had like days where we can wear shorts and short sleeves, even in December, all the way up to last week. Um, So, we literally still transitioning. Um, and so I've been incorporating more herbs, and I've been trying to transition my mind from how I think about herbs, because I definitely all these years I've been using it, I always knew, it's holistic, it's diet, it's everything. But when it comes to having a child who have a chronic illness that sometimes have acute pain crisis, I would treat herbs. Began treating herbs more, like we do, like they do in the Western world, when you take a pill to solve this or fix this, because a lot of times we need it, something to happen immediately. And it caused a lot of stress. So I'm honoring this by slowing down everything, trying to use more herbs that are calming, um, such as chamomile. I used to stay away from things like that because I feel like it was generic, even though it's beautiful and powerful. I don't like anything that lots of people use. I'm like, I want to go for the stuff that has cool names, or insert whatever other herb that people don't talk about on TikTok or everywhere as the go-to. Um, and so yeah, that's been it for me, like reframing my mind how I view things, trying to incorporate seasonal foods back with me and my kids. They don't really eat the lentils and chickpeas and stuff like I do, but I really want to get back into eating more plant-based because I like it. So yeah, that's what's
Hey,
going on with.
hey, Nakia, you said you're in Louisiana. I'm in Texas,
Mhm.
but our it's like this weather has confused us, has
Mm,
confused the land. I
it's been
got
confused.
henbit coming up, thinking it's already
Yes,
spring.
we have dandelions that have been
Yeah.
blooming and sprouting. The cleavers have been coming up like it's spring. I've been
Yeah.
walking around just watching everything. I'm like, okay, it's been mosquitoes out occasion. This is not
Mhm.
right.
If the season's confused, what we supposed to do?
We just go with whatever's in between with the transitional stuff, I guess, and just hang in
That's
there.
right.
But the bills don't transition. They is what they is.
That's true.
We got the bill from the heat and the bill from having the fans running with the air on here and there to cool it off real quick. So yeah. But yes, man, that's what we're doing. And slowing down is the thing for me in all aspects. I'm honoring everything by slowing down. And shout out to myself, my birthday is on the Lunar New Year this year. It's the Lunar New Year and the last day of Mardi Gras. So, and I turned 30. So this is it's wonderful for me. I'm reflecting.
What part of Louisiana you in?
I know everybody thinks Louisiana is New Orleans, but I'm in the great central Louisiana, which is Faraday, Louisiana. um what's his name, that pastor that's in Texas, Joel Osteen. He from here, I found out. I didn't know that. I found that out a few years ago. He's from here. Um and a couple other famous people. Who's that man that was dating his little young cousin that was 13?
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, him. He from here.
Yeah. So that means Jimmy Swaggart is too, because they
Yes.
cousins.
Yeah, Jimmy
Oh,
Swagger, not Joel Osteen. Yeah, Jimmy Swagger. I knew it was somebody with a J. Him.
okay.
And it's some other people, lots of blues
Is that
people
close
from
to
this area.
Opelousas or Nacogdoches?
Uh, mm, so Opelousas is South Louisiana. Nacogdoches is North Louisiana. We're directly in the middle. They're about 3 hours equal away from us, both of
Alexandria? You close to
them.
Alexandria?
Yes, it's about
Okay.
an hour and a half away.
Okay. I lived in New Orleans, so I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. I've been all through that state.
Yes, man. We're one of the river cities, so a lot of people pass through Faraday, and
Mm-hmm.
and got a lot of experiences from here, even if they didn't remember the name. Because you got to come through us to get everywhere else.
Exactly. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so I'm gonna share the floor with somebody else. Thank y'all.
Now I like that y'all were relating and building. That's really good. That's what we here for.
Y'all got
Uh,
me cracking up. I had to mute myself.
mhm.
Asia, me, I'll be interjecting and stuff. Um, the mosquitoes, I'm cracking up because I'm like, yeah, about those mosquitoes. Oh my goodness. And then just everything about Louisiana. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love hearing it because that's what we're talking about right now. How are we honoring this season? And everyone's just kind of sharing some of their experiences, their observations, geography, locations. Like we're all right now in different locations. I know we didn't shout out our areas, but we got Louisiana. Lanita, you just shouted out Texas. I'm over here in Florida. We're kind of close together. In Asia, where are you at?
And Washington State. Look, sometimes you
Close.
have to ask
Meanwhile, out there on the west side,
on the upper west side. But
upper,
yes,
upper, upper.
and dark and well, maybe I'm getting used to it. Some people would say cold, some and rainy, definitely. So this season I've been honoring it by getting a bunch of sleep. And just honoring the darkness of the season. So, allowing my cells to rebuild in that way. And also putting those herbs in the food. Y'all have seen it, some curries, some good old heavily seasoned black eyed peas and cabbage, and just using all of those seasonings that we have available um, to us. But yeah, definitely in the hibernating season, as I like to say, just allowing, as you ingest those heavier foods, also pairing it with those herbs that can still help to move things and digest your food, cayenne peppers and spicy things. So it's been really nice.
Nice. I love the fact that you brought the food into it. Um, we're always, and I like a couple people mentioned food this evening. Nakia mentioned just, healing through the foods and all that good stuff. Lanita, before we got on, you were talking about that good pot liquor you had tonight. What did you have, Lanita? Was it mustards?
Mustard greens and the couscous and the pot liquor.
Yeah, with some, and then I'm just thinking about the build we had earlier with Asia and the peppers in there, and just just a culinary healing because I had some collards, and I've been eating a lot of mustards lately. But tonight we had collards, and with that pot liquor, and it's just those herbal broths, all those herbs you can put in. So definitely healing through the foods during this time, even more so I can say. But I'll go ahead and share with how I'm honoring this season. So for me, it has definitely been very, in my mind, very poetic. Most of y'all know I started teaching agriculture. This is my second year as an agri-science educator. And we are doing a couple things. We are, growing a lot in the greenhouse. We started a nursery. It's the cooler season, so we've been planting our winter garden. And same thing as most people are saying, like, one thing about Florida this year, we didn't have any hurricanes, which was the first time that I can ever remember since I've been here. Um, we had an early freeze back in probably, I think it was November or at the end of October. It got really cold, dropped to almost 30, which was unusual. And then it popped back up over to we're in the 80s this week. Okay, so it's the weather, the changes are real. Changes, global changes are real and things are different. Patterns are changing. And I'm noticing that in the application of herbs and the application of just horticulture and farming and growing. For example, the hibiscus, whenever I always think of the end of the year around December, those hibiscus is the time when we start harvesting. But I'd put down some hibiscus late this year and we have like 25, 30 hibiscus plants still going strong and we're still harvesting through January. when usually the temperatures would drop and get cold. A lot of our stuff is still going and we're still harvesting. We're having longer harvests. So it's just something to really pay attention to. And another thing that I have noticed in the way I was honoring was, first off, knowing we were going to be on vacation, just break from the students, break from each other, break from going to school every day. And I started off my break by going out to the Florida Springs and just being out in nature. And that happened on right before the solstice. The day before the solstice was a new moon energy. And I went out on the springs, and this is something that had been on my mind for a long time, was I just felt like I needed to be by water. Water for me represents nourishment, cleansing, renewal. I'm working on New Year's, some of those rituals that we partake in, cleansing the house, cleaning up the energy, cleaning my altar space, moving the altar space around in different direction as we shift these seasons. And when I went out into the water, I decided to go out on a standing board, which I was sitting down for the most part, but my intentions were, for some reason, I wanted to see manatees. And when I went out there, I saw a lot of alligators, y'all. And there's one thing you're gonna know about me. I respect alligators and crocodiles. I love them. I've been fascinated by them since I was a child. They're one of my spirit animals in many different ways, but I do not play around with the alligators in the water, okay? Um, but while I was out there, I did see some alligators, but I saw a ton of manatees, and it was just nice. All the fear melted away while I was out there, and it was so peaceful to be one, just out there. And I'm so happy that I experienced it, because paying attention to how nature goes through these changes, how nature honors the seasonal changes. Like if I saw an alligator, it would be up on the bank and it would be sunbathing, and you can tell like it's not mating season, it's not high peak for them. Things are a little bit more slow moving, but the manatees were at the bottom and of the water, and it was crystal clear, and the sun was just reflecting, and light beams were just coming up, and they were just eating the grass. They were coming up, they were being playful, and they were just moving slow. And it reminded me of just slowing down this season, just slowing down. And I started just stop doing a lot of things, a lot of physical movement, a lot of exercises that I used to do. I just kind of slowed down from that point on. And the last thing I'm going to say is, from that point of the new moon, I know that the Chinese New Year is technically, I think it's like the second new moon after the solstice. So we come to the solstice and we have two lunar cycles. And then right now, today on the Herbalist Lounge, we had a full moon, and we're right in between going into that second phase where we're going to go back into another lunar cycle. So we're like kind of in that momentum in between. And I'm just thinking about how there's cycles inside of cycles, if that makes sense. So we have like the winter solstice, that's a renewal and a time for renewal. We have the Gregorian calendar, which is like people do the numerology and you add the numbers up, 2026, and that's one, new beginnings. We're about to transition into the Chinese New Year, where we go from the snake to the fire horse, and that's another new year. So it just led me to looking at what are some other new years around the world. How do people celebrate New Year's? And it's, seasonal changes, it's seasonal cycles, it's lunar cycles, sometimes it's solar cycles, sometimes it's stellar cycles, right? But they're all cycles within cycles, and different ways in which we honor these renewals. And what I'm finding is I am always evolving, I'm always renewing and honoring these cycles, but especially during this time for where I'm at, and in this place where we're at geographically in our alignment, it's definitely a time to slow down, because you can start feeling things picking back up eventually. So I've really been feeling it spiritually. I've really been feeling it energetically, and I've just been kind of going with the flow, and just focusing on nourishment, and just honoring this time.
Martina, it's hard that you say that you are slowing down. And for me, I'm kind of confused like the plants, because because it's normally by now all the grass is dead, everything's dead, and everything is resting. But out here, nothing's resting. I got henbit and I'm eating the henbit. I got curly dock. I mean, curly dock is standing up like it's mid-March, April, and all of this. But one thing that you did say that reminded me of that, and I said before, transitions for me for this season, I consider it as dying season. I had a over 100-year-old bodark that fell. It just split and fell. And so with that bodark, I'm like, okay, it's too big. I can't use all of this wood. Ain't nothing I can do with it. I don't have a fireplace right now, so I can't burn the wood. But I found the jaw, I found the head of a wild boar, the skull of a wild boar, and I took a piece of that bodark to remember that bodark, and I'm using that as a handle to make a war mallet from the jaw of the wild boar. And in this way, I may be a little bit different from other people. This is the way I honor when animals pass. If I use their feathers, I make sure that they know that they will go on living, and I will make something beautiful from whatever parts that they decided to leave to us. So with the plants that I'm eating, with the stuff that I'm making, it still kind of has me in a renewal stage. Even though some things are slowing down, we did get that cold snap and then we got warm again. So it's really kind of hard to adjust for me of what season am I in, where am I, what am I doing? Because normally I'd be in Senegal and it'd be burning hot right now. So this is kind of a weird phase for me. The transition is kind of janky. That's the best word I can use for it.
And that's interesting because you just said one thing. You went from Senegal, where it's not cool season right now in Senegal, right?
It's cool. It's really really pleasant there now, but it's really still warm.
And then you go from that to this, and then it's off a little bit when right now with all the change. So yeah, things are interesting. These are some interesting times. Okay. All right. So we all are going through some different observations, similar and different experiences. We can continue to share how we're honoring the seasons, things that we've been noticing. Some of us in familiar locations, some of us in new locations. So as we go through these transitional changes, what herbs and activities are we using to transition? This is good. I love this one here. What herbs come to mind? I heard elderflower, elderberry, lemon balm, cinnamon, healing foods. What else? What other herbs and activities are we tapping into?
Um, that we think of slow. I hate to be the one that thinks of weird things, but when I think of slow movement, I think of digestion, excretion. So when you say coming out of the
Yeah.
slow season,
Oh,
nobody else thinking that. Okay, maybe I'm just because I'm an old person.
yes,
But anyway.
Lanita, we're all thinking about poop. We are all thinking about poop, okay? There we
But
go.
sometimes, especially this year, during the beginning of the year, in a lot of different traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda and some other of the natural medicines, they do cleanses for the beginning of the year or at the change of a season, in order to clean the body out and allow you that fresh start over again. So now is a good time for cleansing and using, different plant materials and herbs to help you get your body ready for that new season that's coming on us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what are some of your favorite herbs for cleansing? What herbs are you using for cleansing?
Well, I've actually found out that moringa is really good for the digestive system. A lot of times we don't think about it because if you feel food goes down and you don't have heartburn, you think it's all good, but it doesn't mean that you're digesting it fully. So moringa, having just a moringa tea every day or a moringa capsule, one or the other each day, is really helping. Also, with this new drink that I'm drinking, the mud water has the cordyceps and the lion's mane tea in it, and that's helped. The lion's mane has really helped clearing the fog out of my head. It lets you think clearer and move and kind of gather your thoughts better. And the cordyceps is helping with the movement, the stagnation that you feel in your joints, that you may feel with the slow movement of your body. And again, it also helps with the digestion and clearing that whole digestive tract. So those are the kind of herbs that I'm thinking of at this time of year.
I like the lion's mane and the cordyceps for sure. I started doing those back in the summer and the springtime, and they're definitely rejuvenating. I'm doing light cleansing, nothing too harsh right now. I'm still focused on a lot of nourishment and, like I said, slowing it down because for me, the summertime was so peak and so hot, and this fall was so peak and so hot for me up here, especially when you're working outside. I know you can relate to working outside because every time I call you, you're outside foraging or something. But it's all that sweat, and purifying and just staying hydrated. Right now, my biggest focus is definitely hydration. In addition to some of those herbs that you just mentioned, I've been really enjoying like marshmallow root, things that help me retain the moisture because we do have our cold spells. Like as weird as the temperatures are out here, it will drop and get cold. Like I said, it'll be 80 degrees one day and the next day it'll be 40 degrees. And that's a recipe for sickness for sure when you're going from one end to the other, you know. Another thing that I think of when I for cleansing, definitely like my pine needles, because you got your evergreens that sustain no matter what. Um, Especially for my people up in the Northeast or in the cooler regions where they've had a few snowstorms and stuff, and it's just straight cold. Like my sister up in Philly would love to hear about some warming temperatures and dandelions, but they're like, nah, it's straight cold up there. But there are evergreens present and really been tapping into a lot of my culinary herbs for cleansing as well, like the ginger, cinnamon, clove, just to keep things moving. And most definitely a lot of nerve-vine and sedatives and restoratives because, like I said, tonight I'm drinking skullcap, um, passion flower, chamomile, lemon balm, whatever I have on deck here, herbs to soothe myself, cramp bark. Getting sleep is really important for me right now. Um, just been feeling the urge to rest a lot more and like everyone says, to get ready for this fire horse, to get ready for springtime, where there's going to be a lot more energy. So really helping out with getting quality sleep, not necessarily longer sleep, but better quality sleep.
And what was the question again? Because I've been holding what I want to say and stuff, and I forgot what it was even.
What herbs and activities are you using to transition?
Okay, so first the herbs. Well, it's different for each one of us because all of us got something different going on. For myself, I'm going to start soon when I re up my herbal space. I'm going to get some things for hormone balancing because this is my third child, and I don't know, my body's doing stuff, and I'm turning into a geriatric person. Apparently, I'm becoming an auntie, so my body doing things that I was prepared for. In addition to extended nursing, we still breastfeeding. He is 1 and 2 months, something like that. Um, and yeah, it's been a lot of changes like with my menstrual cycle, with my body and everything. So for me. That's gonna be that's my focus. Things with nerve iron because it seems like it's mostly my nervous system more than my endocrine system. I think that would help help me. So like Martina was saying with the skull cap and different things, I actually stayed away from skull cap for a while. I stayed away from a lot of nerve vines because I don't like to slow down. And I be scared because I got little people. And you have to have energy when it comes to working, being with them. But I let myself drink some Skull Cap and chamomile. It did not put me to sleep. I'm like Nairobi, that don't work. But maybe it wasn't necessarily like the sleep that I needed. More, maybe it was more, it actually was doing something to my nervous, like healing, like help repairing things, calming me down, whatever needs to take place. I'm confident it was taking place. So um, I'm trying to invite that back into my rotation for me. For my kids, it's nourishment. Um, and so I've been adding hibiscus. I got more hibiscus. I prefer mine to come from Martinez. I'm gonna be visiting you soon, Martinez. Whenever I get hibiscus from anywhere else, I just feel like it's unholy. When I get it from Martina, I feel like it's just got, everything in it. Like it's gonna fix everything.
You're gonna come visit me. You gotta come. I got all the hibiscus for you, Mom. I got all the
I
hibiscus.
have a car now, and we got a lot of days coming up to be out, and I really want
And I'm coming
me
to
and my children to
Louisiana.
come.
I'm coming to
Oh,
Louisiana. Yes. So I was listen. Boop, 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 boop.
yeah.
Okay. And I got seeds from Lanita from Senegal. We got the red hibiscus and the white hibiscus, and then they had babies, and now we got pink hibiscus. Thanks,
Oh,
Lanita.
we got a whole family. Thank you, thank you. Well, I'm gonna put that on my calendar. Thank y'all so much. I'm excited about this. Yes, so I'm doing that for nourishment for my kids. Mostly with hibiscus. We've been adding more zinc. It's not really a herb, but I started back adding zinc because I have the supplements, and this one's supposed to be easy to digest and not harm, upset to the stomach. Um, because there's a lot of trace minerals. We can get through earth and things too, like with our nettles and different things. Um, but I realized it's a lot of minerals that we wasn't getting. Um, and that I need for myself breastfeeding and that the kids need because they're growing. But, so yes, and I said hibiscus. And what else have we been using? Mostly that. I just got some more, and I really, really like it. I have been using licorice. Um, and yeah, I have the tincture, licorice tincture, and I add that to things here and there. Um, yeah, I got some crown bark due to Martina from that concoction I seen her make some months ago, and so I finally got some, and it is nasty, but it feels good. It feels good
It's
to your
funky
body.
too. It's funky.
Mhm. It is when I and astragalus. Um, I've been having it for a while. I'm finally finishing the bag. I forgot. That's what I have in my mix that we drinking tonight too, is strawberries. Because I've been reading a lot about it, but honestly, I haven't used it consistently enough to see the long-term benefits for it. Um, because apparently that's where the most work of it come from because it works deeply, even down to the bone marrow, and that's what we need. So lots of nourishment. That's what we're doing with the things that I have. I'm trying not to focus on like, oh, I have to get this and I have to get this. Um, I'm using what we have, and if there's something else that would enhance, I'm I'm going I'm going to get that. But for the moment, I think we have what we need. And foods. So the greens, I've started giving all my kids, except for my 1-year-old. I started giving everybody chlorophyll, and I started back taking it myself. For the first few days I took it, I was farting a lot, and I realized that's the chlorophyll because I ain't been taking it. Is it cleaning stuff out? Speaking of cleaning out, um, and yeah. So yeah, focus on trace minerals, focusing on nourishment. for me, nourishing my nervous system. And what brought me to that conclusion was my cycles became terrible. My whole body would ache. I would be inflamed. My mood would go to, like borderline suicidal, and that wasn't normal. And I noticed, like Martina was saying, a cycle within a cycle, it only happened at certain times. And that time was always right before my period came on. And I do not like that, because I've been working hard to overcome depression. And I think I mellowed out fine. Like I told my therapist, I think I'm doing well with depression this season because it's not really winter. The season of depression confused too because what season is it? Is it winter to be sad and depressed, or is it what? Is it spring? Um, so yes, that's what we're doing, and I'm taking tips from y'all on what else I can incorporate into our regimen to keep it simple.
That's what I was saying. The season is like so confusing itself. Our bodies don't know what to do because the weather don't know what to do. Like I said, we got spring plants coming up and it's January. So I feel you on that one.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And you know what? Some just popped up in my mind too. What herbs and activities are you using to transition? You guys mentioned death, and a lot of people are ending things that no longer serve them, and that can be a lot to transition through. And I want to talk a little bit about mugwort. And Lanita, I want you to chime in here real quick because we may not be going through certain things ourselves, but we may be supporting people that are close to us, sometimes loved ones. And one of those things are addictions. For example, alcohol addictions, cigarette or nicotine addictions, and people wanting to transition off of those. And those things are not easy to do, you know. And not only that, it can be very dangerous to do things cold turkey. And Lanita and I were having a conversation about nicotine and assisting people who are trying to stop smoking. Lanita, Asia, and I recently were talking about this, and Lanita mentioned mugwort. And I thought about mugwort because we talked about cleansing. It's a bitter herb, definitely toning the liver, can help out with many different things in the body because of that, right? And also when I think of mugwort, I think of dream work. I've definitely been having some interesting dreams lately. But Lanita, do you mind speaking a little bit about, for those who may be listening and needing to support somebody or themselves for like a nicotine addiction and stopping to smoke? Because it's one thing for the nicotine, but then there's also like the habitual part of the smoking. And whatnot. And Lanita brought up mugwort for this, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It could be helpful for some people.
Yeah, so mugwort is something that really helps to cut the nicotine addiction. But many people have chosen to start smoking the mugwort because quitting smoking is just not quitting smoking. You got to quit the habit. You like to do just, it's kind of mechanical. You feel like you got a drink in the hand, you got to have a cigarette in the other hand, or driving or after eating or whatever the habit is. You can't just take it away and stop cold turkey. So people have to transition out of that, and it's better to ease out of it. It lessens the chances of you going back to it. So smoking the mugwort helps to get rid of the nicotine cravings. The only problem is for some people that it causes lucid dreams. Some people love those dreams, and then other people don't. But at least you can have something to help you stop the craving, and as you move on to break the habit of just mechanically smoking. So the mugwort is really good, and if you don't want to smoke it, you can drink it. I drink mugwort in a tea, and when you mix the mugwort and the hibiscus together, you don't get the bitter of the mugwort. taste the bitter, but you still get the benefits of it. So there's multiple ways that you can use the same herb, but it still has that same benefit that you need to cut that nicotine craving.
Good stuff.
So I have a question. So does even though I know my birthday is on the Lunar New Year, I didn't look into the meaning of 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 or the archetype we're moving into of the spiral horse. So does anyone know the meaning and like what herbs do you think would relate to that or what activities would relate to that?
So we've been
You
kind of
mean
building on this a little bit, like the energy of the fire horse and maybe herbs that'll correspond to it. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So the three of us have been kind of making sense of it ourselves and talking about this. Y'all want to share a little bit? Because we've been all over the place with it and I love it. Literally, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're like, we got the snake, the cat, the rat, the bat. Wait a minute, hold up.
Boar and the dog.
Right now we're in the year of the wood snake, the slow and peeling. And then we're going to go at February 16th till March the 7th, I think it said, that we're transitioning into the fire horse. And the fire horse is go, 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 go. And the snake is wood, is slow and cleansing. So we have to, prepare for that. And Sister Asia's on here. She gave us some really good information on that.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely. So I mean, we were talking about in this whole transition. So number one, honoring like where we are right now, and just really like talking about the snake and sloughing, that skin that allows us to actually move through and transition through this time period. So definitely still honoring what is here. So the nourishing, getting some really good nourishment. Also getting some really good, like we said, rest, relaxation. But then also before we even transition into that, it's getting what was it? Hold on, I lost my train of thought. Before you transition into that, it's like reflecting, right? Reflecting on, what this year has brought, and what has come. Because when we get ready to, like, after we're shedding off all of that, then, like Lanita said, we're going to be moving pretty fast into, what the focus is. So, even beyond herbs, just looking at where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Like mentally, spiritually, physically, on all those different planes. Because whatever you put your focus to this upcoming year, you're going to get it, and you're going to get it like in a huge way. So, when we do that, then we have to make sure that old stuff that we carried and we kind of like worked through this year, like
Y'all like you paying attention to nothing that ain't true.
so yeah, so like I had something from the audience over here. So a suggestion was spicy herbs, like you said, hot cayenne. Yeah, definitely. So about those. Oh yeah, baby put too. Yeah, baby, that's right.
He's feeling the spicy herbs over here, apparently.
Yes.
I'm hearing an amen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, the spicy herbs definitely, right? And then like I like before that, like the dandelion herbs, the root herbs, anything that's like growing underground or close to the ground, that's giving you that strength, so that you can move through. Because when you think about like a horse, right? A horse has power. A horse is strong. And Lanita, you were talking about the jaw of one of the animals that you found. So let's think about the horse or the jaw of a horse, just all that power that it takes. Like you, I've always been advised to not put my fingers in a horse's mouth because I might come back with some nubs if I'm lucky, right? And so just the jaw of a horse being so powerful, you need those type of herbs to power you through. And you're going to be going much faster. So let's see, what else? We already talked about root herbs. We talked about cleansing herbs, adaptogen type of herbs. I think earlier somebody mentioned cordyceps. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
Mm-hmm.
cordyceps for that good old transition. So adaptogenic herbs and can help you get through that because they help you. They balance you on any plane. So whether it's the plane of, you might be stressed out, or you might be like too hype or like moving too slow. Those herbs gonna bring you back to the middle. So that's some of the feedback that I have.
Nice. And then
Oh, and one of
yeah,
the things I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead, Lanita. And then I have a question. Go ahead.
Okay, one of the things in the article that we were reading about the transition, they were talking about the liver. And the liver is very important because during the slow time, the liver is not so much engaged. But when you get to the fire horse, a lot of the heat is going to be held in the liver. Anger comes from the liver. That overwhelm comes from the liver. And so they were talking about using your chi and understanding your chi. And there's a movement in qigong it's called to punch the fire. And you actually focus with your eyes because the eyes are also controlled by the liver. And so you focus with your eyes and then you punch really hard into the air, and then you on an exhale you punch, on an inhale you pull that fist back in. And so that helps to remove that fire from the liver. So that's really important going into this year of the
Take
horse,
that with
knowing
you.
that
Take that. So mine don't rip it.
if you're getting into overwhelm, to
Go ahead, use the
punch
bathroom
that.
right quick. Go use the bathroom. I talk to you when you come out.
So working on that liver, right, Lanita?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That that fire in the liver during this coming up into this new fire horse, we have to be aware of that heat in the liver and keeping that heat down. So whether that's with cooling herbs, whether that's through a particular exercise, keeping that fire down so we don't burn ourselves out, trying to keep up with the season.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And Nakia, I was gonna ask you a question. When is your birthday again? Is it on the Chinese New Year?
Oh, it's on the 17th. I heard Miss Anita say the 16th. The only reason I said 17th is because when I went to this Buddhist temple, we were talking, and I was asking when the next event was, and he said on the New Year. But
Okay.
they're not Chinese.
So
They're
that's close enough because what I'm thinking about too is just like, you know how sometimes the new moons are different depending on where you're at on the earth. So 16, 17, 18, that new moon energy is around that time. Um, and one thing that I've been thinking about with this whole cycle and just making sense of it is we've been talking a lot about these seasonal changes, how things are off whack. Absolutely. But also we can tap into so many other cycles, like I said, cycles upon cycles. And something about the lunar cycles really intrigued me. And paying attention to those lunar cycles and making sense of that too during this transition and these changes to me is pretty interesting because I was talking to a few people and everyone feels different about, whether they celebrate the Gregorian New Year, or if it's the winter solstice, or if it's in springtime and this and that, but I honor all of them. I really do. And I was looking at the summer, like I said, with the winter solstice, that's the time when the sun is like supposed to be at a rebirth point, right? Symbolically and actually physically, where the earth is furthest tilted away from it. So the daylight starts becoming stronger and more sunlight gradually, and starts picking up a lot more from that point. And that's a new moon energy on the solstice. Right before the solstice this year, we had a new moon, and then the winter solstice hit. So the Chinese New Year is supposed to be two new moons later after the winter solstice. So I have one of those lunar calendars where I can look at the different lunar cycles, just for all kinds of purposes, for myself, inner work, for gardening, just to kind of my day-to-day observations. But if you follow after the winter solstice, and then when we picked up, we had that first full moon after the solstice, which was around that first week in January, right? So it's kind of like we're picking up, we're building up, and we have a full moon. And that's like enlightenment. We're picking up a little bit of energy. It reminds me of like when you plant that seed and it's cracked and your roots go down, and then it starts waxing. I mean, it starts waning. So then we're going back down to that new moon energy, and that's where we're going into right now, because we're in the waxing phase. I mean, the waning phase. We're waning away, and then we got a new moon coming up next week. So it's like right now we're in the middle of where we had about 7 to 8 days ago, we had that full moon. But about 7 days moving forward from today, we are going to have our first new moon since the winter solstice. And that's next week coming up. So once again, it's like we've picked up to see that fullness, to reflect. And now we're taking what we've learned in that moment. And now we're slowing down again. And then after that new moon next week, we pick it back up to a full moon at the end of January. And then, of course, after that full moon, and I think the full moon's like February 1st, according to this moon app, then we go down and we wane again, all the way down to the Chinese New Year. And according to this, it's around the 16th or the 17th. And it says the new moon's on the 17th, where I'm at 7:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that is going to be the second new moon since the winter solstice, February 17th, which is around the same time as the Chinese New Year. And for me, symbolically, I'm thinking about, when you think about tuning into cycles, we have so many cycles. We can do these seasonal cycles. These cycles have been out of whack for me, for sure, out here, especially in Florida. We got all kinds of weird things going on. We have the lunar cycles, solar cycles, and then even cycles beyond that, right? But paying attention to these lunar cycles can be very beneficial too. And then just symbolically what they mean, as far as like going to that full moon and gaining that strength, and then waning back down. And then now this is the second time we're kind of revving up. So we've had two rev ups, two lunar cycles since the solstice during this snake and shedding. And then now we're about to go into the horse. And for me, it's just kind of like I've had two opportunities to wane down, to cool off, pick it back up a little bit, just subtly. Now I'm cooling it off a little bit. Now I'm picking it back up and getting ready. And those are my inner cycles that I'm deciding to align with the lunar cycles, or maybe I want to decide to align it with the solar cycles, or, I can align it with a whole different star system, or whatever I can feel that alignment to, that I'm paying attention and observing, or whatnot. So those are some different cycles. And once again, it makes me think of farming, where there are certain aspects or different parts of the plants you harvest when you have full moons versus new moons. And just paying attention to the insects on the farm, or just out and about during the new moon and the full moon. But for me, it's very symbolic. You have the seed cracking, the roots go down, and then you don't see the roots underground, but there's stuff happening. It's kind of quiet for a little bit. Right when you think nothing's happening, what happens? Boom, that sprout comes up, or boom, it starts to bolt and it goes to seed out of nowhere. So once again, those cycles upon cycles, and tuning into that lunar energy is very interesting too, although our Gregorian calendar isn't based on the lunar cycles.
But we are women and we are based on the lunar cycle.
That part, 13 moons, baby.
and
And a lot of the
and
ancient calendars and calendars in general, like, are based on the lunar cycles. But you have all kinds of different calendars based on all different cycles, you know? So,
yeah, and the Chinese New Year is not one day like we celebrate ours just one
mhm.
day. The Chinese New Year is from February 16th all the way until that full moon. Or and yeah, I think it's to the full moon.
It's
So
a
it's
party,
a
baby. It's a party,
yeah, it's
celebration.
2 weeks,
Literally.
yeah.
Yeah. Literally, they be celebrating. I love it. Nakia, you have your hand raised?
I do. I be trying to be polite. Um, so I really want to. I love foraging. For one, I love foraging. Um, it's a promise I made to myself to get back out in the fields and stuff this year because I love it. I would much rather forage everything and use it straight from there than buy herbs because it's just beautiful. Like they talk to me. That's why whenever I took my first herbal classes and they would say, when we would be learning about the granny midwives and things and the indigenous people, how the plants would speak to them, they literally speak to me. It's like I'd be walking through and it's just like, everybody's like, hey, how you doing? And I'm just like, hey, y'all, and I get shy. And I'm like, oh, look at you. To actually meet them. Um, and so what I was about to ask was about mushrooms. We got lots of forestry around here, different mushrooms. And I started learning them, but I am still deathly afraid. Even if I know this a turkey tail, it's just I don't know if it's an ancestral memory, if it's just the fear that I got myself. I'm scared to touch one and eat it because I feel like I'm just gonna die. Even if I know it's okay, even though I know I can identify it and know what it is. So do y'all have any tips for harvesting mushrooms and like once you get them, how what to do to actually use it? Like because they're really powerful.
I'm
Um,
gonna tell you what I do, but don't do what I do. Uh,
I'm gonna do
when I
it. Go
moved
ahead, tell me.
when I moved to Senegal, in our backyard, these huge mushrooms grew. I sent Asia a picture. She's like, "What's that?" I was like, "That's a mushroom." So I wanted to stay away from it from a while, but it just looked too good. So I took that booger and I fried it up. I seasoned it up, I fried it up, and then I took a pinch, just a small pinch off the corner to see how it made me feel. If I got sick, if I got woozy, if I dropped dead, whatever. And it was good. It did not, I didn't get sick from it. And I took the pinch on one day and then I ate the rest of that mushroom the next day. So, there is a theory of minims. There is, you could take a little bit and it won't hurt you. But some of the others, if you have a plant identification app, it's good to, check it out. But of course, a lot of them will tell you, you can't be sure about mushrooms. Don't take a chance. But I found that a lot of the poisonous mushrooms are a lot smaller. Now, I have not run across any of the big ones that were poisonous, but you can try and see. Like I said, if you have an identification app, some of them will tell you this is good, this is okay, and then others will say, nah, we ain't gonna touch it, so but just a little pinch of it, you can taste it, and then, well, you might not die.
Yeah, like she said, happy packing, don't die. But so yeah, I am in mushroom territory up here because it rains, right? And there's a lot of wood and there's a lot of just mediums for mushrooms to grow, the fungus part. And so what I will do, because Nikia, I feel the same way you do. I'll be like, yo, this looks good, but am I gonna die? So what I will be doing, as I explore this area is when I find some fun guys hanging out, right? I'm gonna take a picture of the top underneath so you can see the gills. I'm gonna make note of the environment. And so Lanita already brought it up, like the identification apps. So like Seek, definitely, put it in there. But Seek is not always reliable. It's pretty good, but not always reliable. And then I'm a part of a few mushroom identifying groups like on Facebook. So, cross-reference. So I'm gonna cross-reference many times. And also I have the luxury, because there's a whole bunch of mushroom loving people up here too, thank goodness. I have the luxury of probably taking, a walk or two with some people if I get the chance, who know mushrooms, so that, I'm cross-identifying stuff. And then that will more so give me more the confidence to go out and say, okay, this is the same thing that I saw, last week. So I know that this is good. And then still, Lanita said, don't do what she do, but I'm gonna do what Lanita did. And still, even after I've identified it, because I'm just super cautious about mushrooms in particular, the plant's easier, but still just take a little bit of it, because there are some lookalikes, but just take a little bit of it, taste it, and then that's what we're gonna do. And Harmony agrees. Absolutely, absolutely. You're welcome. And then just another activity that I'm doing during this transition. There are several times out of the year, like specific times out of the year, that I will do like deep cleaning. So that is before the new year, because my grandmama and great grandmama and them, I hear them, and they will not let me live it down if the house is not cleaned and everything is put in order. So before the new year, you can't go into the new year the same way you leave in the old year. So if them clothes ain't folded, that's how you gonna leave the whole year. That's how you gonna live the whole year. So clothes gotta be folded, put up, all that good stuff. But that's a transition. But also another transition is like going into spring, another deep clean. So like at the change of the seasons, just those big old deep cleans. And it's just, I don't know, at this point, it's like in my bones. I'm sure it's in my DNA. But that's what I also do to help transition from an old year or an old cycle to a new cycle.
Same here, Asia. I feel you on that one. And Asia, I'm not even gonna lie. Remember, I said tapping into different cycles. I was like, "Ooh, I ain't get to that third room. We're gonna go ahead and tap into this Chinese New Year. We got a little extension on the way over here to get to the cleaning."
Yeah, that's like the preparation, right? For me.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And not just clean your house, you can clean your gut too.
There goes Lanita, always going back to the root of the poop.
People don't realize how much that can be hazardous to your health. That a lot of diseases begin in the intestinal tract and definitely in the colon and backs up. So keeping that freeway clear is a better way for health, to keep your health.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, we're certainly, look, now we're getting into the poop part of the conversation, but we were talking about how and the conversation we've been having over the last few weeks, y'all, but how diseases and viruses can be spread through fecal matter, and and I know that's slightly different than what we just brought up, but still, that's where we find so many of these diseases lingering, is right there. So absolutely correct. And we'll be going into that season where we have that spring fast and cleansing.
Mm-hmm. You ain't lying about that. All them diseases carried in the poop. Proper hygiene. Come on now. Mm-hmm. Wash your hands. Clean your gut. Y'all know I work with a bunch of children, so
and that's why plumbers don't bite their fingernails.
Well, if they do, ugh. All right, y'all.
Asia was talking about that horse in the jaw, and I made a war mallet. The Native Americans used to use the jaw of a horse as a war mallet. And let me tell y'all, if you put that on some boat art, and you can imagine coming down on off the back of a horse on somebody's head with that jaw of a horse, that bone is so strong. I'm telling you, it would break any part of a human, especially if you have any weight behind that. So the force that's with that horse, and only imagine if that horse is running and galloping and you get the force of that war mallet coming down on you. So that's what we're looking for this year. You know, we have to be mindful of not letting ourselves get caught up on the runaway horse this, this new year coming up. And also making sure that we're using our nervines, that we are using our herbs for rest and relaxation to help keep us from going into that just total chaotic space, or for us so that we don't lose ourselves in all of the activity of this year coming up.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Lanita, for sure. Because, um, I always listen to Got to Be Oshun. She does the reading of the year. Y'all can check her out on her YouTube channel. But every year I'll look at her, just to see, where the focus can be for the year. And one of the things that was brought up in that reading is definitely, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and it's happening quickly already. Some people are already tuned into the fire horse energy, right? And so, yes, absolutely, Nakia, yes. But some people are already tuned into that energy, and that's the time that they are on permanently. But instead of being focused on everything that's happening in the world that can, inflame our emotions and our spirit, don't worry about that. Because Lanita, like what you were saying, the things that you focus on this year, that's where the energy is going to go. So if you are focusing on things that, get you all worried or upset, then that's where it's going to go, and it's going to go there fast. So, if you find yourself getting in that mode, and everybody has their way, but those cooling herbs, like what we're talking about, putting on your white, because you have to be more aware, and more focused when you're wearing white. And it is definitely a color that can cool you down. That energy cools you down. So get into that and get focused, because like I said, everything that we are getting into this upcoming year is going to happen with a force.
Asia, whose reading of the year did you say you listened to? I didn't catch the name.
Got to Be Oshun. I'll send you the link.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Very, very, very nice. I love it. I love it. I'm thinking about getting on this pony first, y'all. And then then I'm gonna ride that stallion later on. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all.
Don't forget getting on Buford.
I ain't even ready for that, Lanita.
For y'all, Buford is a water buffalo.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna wait for Water Buffalo year for that one. Oh my goodness.
There it goes.
I will definitely keep you posted, Nakia, because I am planning that over this next week. So I will definitely keep you posted. Yeah. Can't wait. Nairobi, you sleeping? Nairobi, what you talking about? How you come here, sit down. How you feeling? You tired? No?
No.
How do you feel? Energized, tired, sleepy, relaxed, cool?
Cool.
Oh, you cooled off. You need to go put some white on and go put your white nightgown on, okay? I love you. I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Man, let me tell you, we're about to be utilizing all these things up in here. Shoot. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all. We went over a lot of good herbs and even
Mhm.
activities too. I like that.
Mhm.
Definitely gonna check out Got to Be Oshun. Are we ready to transition to our next slide, y'all?
Oh yeah.
All right. Do we have any upcoming events? Okay. Well, I can't wait to tap in with y'all on the next Herbalist Lounge to see how this whole transition went for everybody. And as we keep on going into this energy, in February. So I'm excited to keep on building on this as always. And if you're listening to the recording or if you're not already subscribed to the Herbalist Lounge on YouTube, what you waiting on? Go ahead and get on there and subscribe. It's at Herbalist Lounge on YouTube. Matter of fact, it's at Herbalist Lounge also on Instagram and Facebook. It's always time to get some kitchen medicine making going. And matter of fact, the Three Spice Sisters did a kitchen medicine making workshop. When did we do this one, y'all? Ooh, 2022.
Mhm.
Guess what? You can still tap into that energy. You can purchase it. The link is right. Well, the link is not right there, but maybe we can go ahead and put it inside the chat. And you can actually see it on the screen here. It's at herbalist-lounge.thinkific.com. We did a lot of amazing things, all the way from different applications, poultices, syrups, medicinal broths, you name it. Herbal popsicles. I'm telling you, it was out of this world, but right there in our kitchen. And if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to our mailing list. We'll keep you posted when we have Herbalist Lounge coming up and any other events going on with Herbalist Lounge. We went ahead and we threw that link inside the chat as well. And if you're viewing the recording, it's herbalist-lounge.mailchimpsites.com. Okay, y'all. Well, I just want to say before I pass the mic that I really enjoyed this evening and it was very insightful. I loved hearing from everybody. I can't wait for the next lounge. So thank you all so very much for being here and sharing this space this evening. And Nairobi says the same thing. So good night, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic over to another spice.
The next Herbalist Lounge will be February the 9th. And that is exactly 1 week before the Chinese New Year. So we have a chance to get together and talk about how we're going to rein in this wild horse. And people always talk about a runaway horse, and let me tell you from personal experience, once a horse starts running, you better get out the way, and nothing you can do about it. And I'm telling you this from personal experience. So when we get together the next lounge, we might be able to talk about how we gonna rein in this horse and keep it on track for the next year coming up.
Let's do it.
Get on the horse, hey, the fire horse, hey, peace. power, and green blessings. See you next month.